They got into a fight like 2 weeks ago, the dogs.
Right. I'm just gonna go with that this is working. I think there's a way I can record this as well in Discord, but honestly, I don't know how to record it in Discord, so we're recording it in Streamlabs. But anyways, this is how it's gonna look. Hey, good, I have decent lighting. It should be recording. Alright, so we're gonna just hop right into it. This is the start. Welcome to that episode. It's either 2 or 3. I don't know if I'm gonna upload this before the one that I record tomorrow or not, so we'll see, but welcome to, again, episode 2 or 3 of the Smart Kid Podcast. Our first video that we're actually recording. I have my good friend Allison that we met at UWGB. Had lots of fun times in Josephine Len Feste Hall watching football together. Mm-hmm. Basically every Sunday, that's all we did was sit in the lounge and watch football together. And it was a good old time.
Yep.
So. Hello, Allison. How you been?
Hi. I've been good. Yeah, like I said, I had a really wild day today. I got about 3 hours of sleep, and then I had to stuff some sausage.
Oh.
And
no pun intended either.
No, not even. We had the wrong casings and lubed them up, and they weren't working. So when you texted me about an hour ago, I was panicking because I was like in the middle of trying to stuff some sausage, and I was like, uh-oh.
The joys of living in the Midwest, huh? There's like, let's be honest, there's so many people that are like, you had to stuff sausage, like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, there's so many people that are just like, what the fuck does she even mean?
Adam got a deer last weekend, and so we've been cutting that and doing all the fun stuff.
All the fun stuff. Oh,
Oh yeah.
Was it a big one?
Yeah. I couldn't lift it. I mean, surprise, but...
I'm talking about how many antlers did it have, Allison?
Oh, I think you meant weight. It was 8.
8? All right, that is a nice size deer. That is a nice size deer.
Yeah.
That's not bad. So, how's your life been since we've seen each other 3 years ago?
I was going to say, well, so I stayed at UWGB one more year, and then I dropped out of there.
Same.
And I went to another college in Chicago area, and I dropped out of that one too.
Hey,
so
college ain't for everybody.
yeah.
You were going for. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you were going for pharmaceutical stuff, right?
I started that, and when I went to my second college, I was going to do sports medicine. And then I was like, I hated it all, so. Yeah, I plan on going back next fall. Hopefully we stay this time. Don't plan on dropping out 3 times, but we'll see.
Hey man, it is what it is. But no, I totally feel the not liking it. Like when I was going to UWGB, I was going for like coding, and it's like the only reason I picked that coming out of high school was because I was like, hey, I can make a fuck ton of money doing this, and I'm always gonna have a job in this field. And, I feel like a lot of people coming out of high school, that's how they pick their career. It's, like, very unfair, in my opinion, to have someone who's 18 years old be like, hey, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? And, by the way, you're going to have to be thousands of dollars in debt to do that as well. And then probably find out it's not what you want to do. And sports medicine...
I was pushed by...
Go ahead.
Sorry, you can go.
No, you go. Ladies first.
I felt so pushed by my family to do... pharmacy in the first place because I was like, yeah, it makes good money. And they're like, yeah, you want to, have a good job, make a lot of money. And after dropping out 2 times, my reason both times was that I just felt like it wasn't what I wanted to do. And, I don't want to spend so much money and go into debt. I mean, I already did, but, further debt for something that I don't want to do.
Yeah, I totally feel that. That's kind of how I was too. It's just like, my mom always hammered me because my mom actually graduated college, like later in life. She's the only one in our family that actually has graduated college, funny enough. But, she pushed me so hard, and she's just like, oh, you got to go to college, get a good job, all that stuff. And it's like, obviously that's what I thought I wanted. I was like, yeah, that's great. But like in all reality, it's just one of those things that when you're that young, you really have no idea what the fuck you want to do. I still don't know what I want to do. You know, I'm 23, and
Yeah.
it's like I don't know, bro. I'm just chilling on a rock flying through space. Like that's what I
Yeah.
want to do. You know, and
Yeah.
it
Well, I want to go back for I'm thinking of doing architectural science. And
build buildings,
my
huh?
cuz yeah, and designing things. My mom was like, "You just play too much Sims."
I mean, hey, it's a
I was
good
like, "But what's
start.
wrong with that?
Yeah, it's a good
That's
start.
Sims in real life."
Yeah.
So,
No,
I don't know. We'll see.
that's cool. I wanted to go for sports medicine was like the first thing that I was kind of like,
Mhm.
hey, why don't I try to go into sports medicine? That seems like it's kind of cool, and in theory it is, but then it's just like, wow, it's a hell of a lot more to it than I thought, though. That was my
Oh
main
my
thing.
god, everyone in my program was so douchey.
Then you
They were
already
like,
know
"Yeah,
that's a field you don't want to
I
be in.
lift 6 days a week," and I'm just like, "I can't." And I was the only girl.
Oof.
And like we would take these classes and like in my bio and anatomy and stuff, they were like so clueless. And I'm like, "You just love going to the gym." Which I mean like fair enough, but like you got to know a thing or two as well.
Yeah,
But yeah.
yeah. There's so much of that too. We need more women in jobs like that, and we need more women in STEM jobs too. Like, fuck,
Mhm.
women are so much better than dudes. Like, I'll even say it. I'm a guy, and I'll even say it. Like, y'all are the superior sex. Like, it's just facts. We just need to wake up and realize it. Like,
Yeah.
shit, y'all. Oh, I still got the tag on this sweatshirt. Literally, I meant to cut this off, but I guess I
Ooh.
forgot. I just bought this last night, literally.
Nice.
Here, we'll cut it off.
I hate how they have like or at least a few stores I go to have like the tiny round stickers with like the size on the front.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I wear something new, I'm like so paranoid that it's like hiding somewhere.
It's just like
I
it's
hate
here
that.
somewhere. I know it. I know it.
Yeah. And then someone's gonna see it, and that's embarrassing.
Uh, so what does your fiance do? She's engaged, by the way, guys. You have good congrats
Yeah.
to her getting married soon.
Well, first off, wedding planning is literally the worst thing in the whole world.
Oh.
I I hate it. It's not fun at all. I was reading an article a couple months ago, and this lady was like, "Oh yeah, but by the time from the time we got engaged until like the honeymoon, we went on like 5 trips to relax from wedding planning." I was like, "What do you do? How much money do you
Five
make? That's
freaking
not
trips?
realistic."
Not at
It's like the
all.
average wedding is 25,000, which obviously you can do cheaper. Some people spend more. But like that's a car, that's a good down payment. And I'm like, how are you going to spend that much money on a wedding and then take that many trips?
Yeah, that's kind of like unrealistic. Sorry, I'm just trying to get a little bit of
Yeah.
lighting
No,
here.
you're good.
I'm trying to move
um
this thing whichever way, but it's not working. I think I'm just gonna stay in the dark, I guess. Yeah, wedding planning is there. That
not
works a little
fun.
bit better. On that side works just a tad. It's a little lighter. Yeah, I know. That's eventually I'm gonna have to deal with that stuff. But Catherine and I want like a small wedding, not like a super
Yeah.
big one, where it's just literally gonna be like, hey, mom and dad, couple of close friends, we're good.
I wanted to elope in the at Glacier National Park so bad.
Ooh,
That's what I wanted. But here
that's
I am
pretty.
planning a wedding for 150 people.
Oh my god, that's so much. And like, like, why do y'all have to like? It's so ridiculous that, in my opinion,
I
big weddings
We
are.
had a smaller guest list and we were yelled at by other people that we had to add more, and they're like, people are going to be so upset. I'm like, we don't even know these people that well.
Bro,
But
weddings
yeah.
are so blown out of proportion. Like, it's like it's your day. It's like not everybody else's
Mhm.
fucking day.
Yeah.
It's like, what does
Yeah.
Allison want? What does Adam want? Like, that's what should be
Yeah.
important, not
I
like
I kept
everything
saying, I
else.
was like, I'm not going to be a bridezilla, but when everyone's like, do this, do that, invite this person, don't invite this person. I'm like, it's my day. I do what I want. Like
Exactly.
I started being a little bitchy, but
I mean, you
sometimes you
got
have
to
to,
be
so.
sometimes, you know? Like, it's
Yeah.
your fucking day. Like,
Yeah.
it's like you two are getting married. Everybody else isn't. Like, it's you two.
Yeah, but,
But
anyway, Adam, we both work from home. He, took over his dad's business, and he ships out medical supplies. So,
okay. And what are you doing currently?
I'm managing a hockey blog, which I'm technically not supposed to, like, say the name other places, which doesn't make sense because you think like, "Oh, free,
Publicity. Yeah.
advertisement," but, yeah. So I manage a hockey blog.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I know that's a good fit
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
I know. How
Yeah,
about? Go ahead.
everyone's saying how they're, like, struggling with 2 people working from home during quarantine, and I'm like, "This is normal for us."
It's like we've been doing this
That's
shit.
how I know we like each other because we both spend way too much time together. So
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Nah, working from home for me has been like it's been a little challenging. Like, I'll be
Mhm.
honest, my like especially when it first started and like I didn't get anything done at my job. Like I literally probably went a month without doing any work, no bullshit.
Mhm.
Whoops. But like part of it for me was I need to get out of the house more. Like it's really
Yeah.
hard and I didn't realize how much it affects me, especially like, with depression and everything. It just gets a little bit worse when you're stuck, especially being by myself all day was part of it too. It was like
Yeah.
me and the fucking cats here in this house by myself like for most of the day. Catherine would come home, all that. But
Yeah.
it kind of made me appreciate her coming home a lot more too, though, because like before it was just like we're both at work, and now it's just like, oh wow, I'm actually really happy to see you and talk to
Mhm.
somebody
Yeah.
other than our cats. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I can see the struggles of it, and I know, but getting adjusted to it, I'm getting a lot better at it. I'm learning to cope with everything a little bit more, all that fun stuff.
Yeah. It's definitely helped me getting into, like, a routine.
Yeah, that's my main thing. Like I've been trying really hard to get a better routine going for myself too, because like for a while there, like I wasn't eating and I was getting up so late and all that fun stuff. And like I've
Mhm.
tried to get up sooner and I've been eating like healthier too and stuff. Like I make myself breakfast shakes, Allison, with like
Look at
spinach
you.
in
I could
freaking.
never.
Yeah, like it's got like spinach and fruits and shit in there and protein powder, almond milk. Because let me tell you, whole milk does not agree with Logan anymore. Any
See,
dairy does not. Mm-mm.
I've been doing I think it's soy milk, but the other day I accidentally got one that was, like, high protein, and oopsie, and I felt so sick, like, the rest of the day. I had cereal with my high protein soy milk, and I threw it away. I was like, "Never again."
That
It's
just wasn't
awful.
it. Yeah.
No, it was not it.
No, I had we went to funny story, but not so funny on Logan's part. But
Uh-oh.
we'll open it up here. We went the other day. Catherine and I were out and about and stuff, and I got a vanilla chai latte. And they're like, I knew I should have asked her something else because they're like, "Oh, is whole milk okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine." Well, it wasn't fine. I ended up shitting my pants, to be honest.
Uh-oh.
It was not a good time. Ruined a nice pair of Adidas sweatpants. But yeah, I'm very like, it's not so much with cheeses. Like, cheese is still okay. But like,
Mhm.
fucking anything like dairy, like milk, it's just, I can't. My stomach, like, I had a couple friends that were lactose intolerant, and I was always like, "Oh, sucks to suck." And now that like I've experienced it, I'm like, "Wow, this really does kind of
Yeah,
suck." Like the other day, I had a
yeah.
blizzard from Dairy Queen, and like half an hour after, my guts are rumbling, and it's like, "Yep, to the toilet we go."
You know, I've learned with Starbucks, the more questions they ask you when you order a drink, the worse it's gonna be. Like, they start if they get, like, 2 questions in, I'm like, "You know what? I'm gonna get something else. Take that off."
Just like I don't know
Or when I
I don't
go
know
lately
this.
Yeah, yeah, too many questions. I went the other day to Starbucks, and I was getting, I don't know, some mocha, and they always yell. They're like, "Is it hot?" And I'm always like, "Wait, what?" Because 'Cause they're asking if you want it, like, hot or,
Cold or
iced or whatever,
blended,
but, like,
yeah,
it catches me so off guard when they just yell, "Is it hot?" at me. It's just I hate it. So
yeah. It's hot, baby. Nah, my guilty pleasure lately has been the large ice mochas from McDonald's. Like I don't know why I like them,
Oh,
but it's like it's got a very strong coffee taste, but it's like
yeah.
good coffee taste. Like, and I think that's
Mhm.
why I like it because I normally drink my coffee black anyways, and like this is just like not like bitter coffee. This is like actually good coffee, but
Mhm.
I've cut back on caffeine a lot too.
McDonald's had a turtle, like, iced mocha or something, like, 3 years ago, and I would get one every single day. I don't really like coffee, but I loved it, and I've never seen it since. So,
Yeah,
praying
kind of
that it
like
comes back someday.
it's like Starbucks always does that. I'm a low key sad we don't have a Starbucks around here. Living in the middle of bumfuck nowhere kind of sucks.
Mine's, like, 20 minutes away.
Oof, even that's rough.
Far.
But you
Mhm.
gotta get it though. Part of the daily routine.
It's I was gonna say, that's part of my routine. I get up, I shower, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to Starbucks. Do you want anything?" And yeah.
It's like that episode of Parks and Rec when they're trying to put in a paunch burger, and the one guy is like, "I have to go all the way this way to get my breakfast from Paunch Burger, and it makes me 10 minutes or 20 minutes late to work every day, and I work from home." and they're like, "Do you ever consider not having that for breakfast?" And he's like, "I will never consider that."
Yeah, that's me.
It's just like this happens. So what happened to Nick Foles? I saw he hurt his
Oh.
hip.
Oh, I don't know. I
You haven't
haven't
been
kept
keeping
up
up
with
with
it.
them Bears?
No, I
The
do not.
Bears? Too much
You know,
hockey.
I kept up the first couple games, and they're not doing good anymore, so I, haven't paid attention, not gonna lie.
They benched Trubisky. That was probably the best decision they've ever made, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everyone in Chicago can agree that, no.
Mitch
We
wasn't
hated Jay
it.
Cutler when we had him, and now we're like, "Damn, anybody else right now," you know?
Yeah. Well, Foles was doing pretty good. Like Foles is a good quarterback, but yeah, I guess
Mhm.
he had to get carted off. He like hurt his hip or some shit. I didn't see exactly what, but I think fucking Deshaun Kaiser's starting. So have fun with that one this weekend, Bears
Oh,
fans.
guess I don't have to, wear my Bears jersey this weekend.
Yeah, good old. He played for the Browns for a while. He played for the Packers too. We got him in a trade for some. We traded him, and I don't know. I think the Browns just kind of gave him to the Packers. Like, hey, we don't want him, so we're gonna do this trade. And you're just gonna take him. But
Uh-oh.
oh man, all right. So let's talk about a little bit deeper stuff here. So you were telling me, of course, that you were recently diagnosed with depression. So just tell me, like, how
Mhm.
long do you think you've had it? Like, how long do you think you've struggled with it before you actually got diagnosed? Because I know, like me personally, I've had it forever, and like I got diagnosed
Mhm.
whenever, and just tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, so I think it really started, I don't know if when I'm saying, like, I started, if it was fully, like, depression at that point, but I think the biggest problem for me was when I left, Green Bay and I moved back to Chicago area with my mom. She was in just, like, a shitty relationship, and her boyfriend lived with us, and it was just, like, I hated being at home because it was just problems, like, 24/7, and, I was missing my friends because all my friends in Illinois moved to other states for college, and uh, everyone I liked was in Wisconsin, and so I felt really alone and like I didn't have friends, and um, I just lived with people who drove me nuts all the time, and like I would literally like go shopping. I would be gone the entire day just to not be home. Um, so I think that was kind of like the decline, and then um, Adam and I, we moved to Michigan, and uh, like my mom and I have always been so close, and um, like I finally made friends in Illinois, and so leaving friends again, and we live in like the middle of nowhere, not the middle of nowhere, but we live in a very touristy town, and like most of the houses are really expensive, like vacation homes, and the people who do live here are like 50 plus, and so it just feels lonely here too. not having people my age and not really having neighbors. And so I think it really started. When would that have been? I think July-ish of June or July of 2018. And for the longest time, I was like, I'm just upset. I felt like it was normal to feel that way. And so I finally went to psychiatrists and therapists. And once they finally told me, I was like, that makes sense. I was like, I can see
It's like,
that, and
yeah, maybe.
yeah, and like I wasn't upset about it. I wasn't like ashamed about it, and I know it's such a common thing and it's something that so many people go through. I was so hesitant to tell people because I hate when they say, you seem fine to me, or, when we were hanging out last week, you were laughing and smiling. And, it's when you go home, things are different than when you're out with other people.
Yeah,
So,
I totally agree with that. There's a saying, I don't know where the fuck it's from, and I've seen it all over the place, but it's like the saddest people smile the biggest, and it's like that
mm,
kind of really sticks with me a lot because it's like, well, I think one of the reasons why it's like that too is especially for someone like me. Like, I don't know, could you tell, like, for me when we knew each other in high school, I mean, could you tell that I had depression, like, for the most part, or
no.
like, no? See, exactly. And it's something that I've had severely. Like, I was severely depressed
Mm,
in college and everything. And I think part of it is like people who have it for so long and have had struggled with it, and like you get to a point where it's like what it feels like, exactly like you said, to like when you get home you don't want to do anything, you just want to sit there,
mm,
like it just like, and you don't want anybody else to feel like that, so you try your hardest to like make everybody else happy, and like you're always trying to be
yeah.
smiley, and it's like all that. And even like you were saying too, there's such a stigma around it, and people are like, it's like, oh, how can you be depressed? You're like, when we hang out, you're all smiley and happy, and it's like, oh, you're fine, but it's like, but you're not. It's like you put on a whole
Yeah.
different face when you're around everybody else, and it's just kind of what you got to do too. You just got to mask it the best you
Mm,
can. And I totally get
yeah.
where you're coming from, because I'm actually kind of like Catherine and I are 1 second. Ooh, that was a good one. But Catherine and I are in the same situation where we live here, small town. It's very touristy. Like, it's winter right now. Snowmobilers are going to be coming in fucking forever. And then in the summertime, you get all the tourists
Hmm.
coming in too. And like, I completely relate to everything that you say. We have no friends here our age, like, at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's so hard like that. Like, I think that's one of the problems being young, growing up in the Midwest, is like, there's just so many. Most of the Midwest, especially Wisconsin and Michigan, like, I don't know about Illinois so much, but I know I've lived in Wisconsin and Michigan my entire life, and it's like literally all you see everywhere you go is just like, not old people, but older people, like 40s, 50s,
Hmm.
like that range, and all they do every fucking weekend
Yeah.
is go to the bar. Like, and it's like, if you
Hmm.
don't do
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
you're not going to meet anybody, and it's like very hard to meet people your age, and
Hmm.
it's like, it's just a very
Yeah.
retirement-y area place. But Catherine and I plan to move to
Yeah.
Colorado soon, so we're hoping that kind of helps.
I want to so bad.
Everybody wants to go
I
to
I went to
Colorado.
Who doesn't?
Everybody.
Who under the age of like 30 does not want to go live in
like,
Colorado?
like, for real. It's
I
just,
went to Denver actually like a year ago, just a few days ago. And I went with my friend Mariah, and literally every time we talk, we're like, oh, I want to go back so bad.
uh, yeah, it's just, it's such a, like, it's such a progressive state too, I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, they, the
Mhm.
legalization of weed, but I mean, not even just that. I mean, if you really want to go super progressive, go to fucking Oregon, decriminalize
Yeah.
everything. But yeah, I'm all for it though. I really am, because my view on it is like,
Yeah.
you look at it, and everybody looks at like the war on drugs and everything, but it's like the drugs aren't the problem. It's the
Yeah.
situations that the people are in that are the problem. It's
Mhm.
like, you can't go to a normal person and be like, hey, do you want to shoot up heroin? And they're going to be like, yeah, let's give it a shot. It's like, no.
Yeah.
It's like you have to get to such a low
Yeah.
point at your life that like you feel that's your only escape from reality, that and then
Mhm.
heroin, opioids, whatever it might be, it's like it's just a state of the country in general, you know what I mean? It's horrible when you look at it, like,
Yeah.
and like you said, it's depression nowadays is such a common thing. It's ridiculous. You look at anybody our age, and I guarantee they suffer from some sort of mental illness, or they have at some point in their
Mhm.
life. It's just
Yeah.
the country's so fucked right now. It's like I said, I was talking about on my first one, where it's like people, they go to these dead end jobs that they get treated like fucking a cog in the machine, and it's like you can
Mhm.
only, that's not fulfilling to yourself. It's not fulfilling. Like you don't get any happiness out of that. And it's like when you spend most of your time
Yeah.
doing something that doesn't make you unhappy, that doesn't make you happy. Like, what do you expect? You expect to be happy? Like, no,
Yeah.
it's horrible.
Well, my mom, she co-owns the meat market with her
Mm-hmm.
cousin, and they go through so many employees, I feel like. And I always tell them, and her cousin, he's kind of like he's not a good people person. And I'm always telling them, I'm like, you just need to learn how to talk to people and, be good employers. And, it's okay to, you know, be friendly with them and talk to them and not just talk about work related things because, that affects their mental health. And, you want to be happy at work and you don't want to,
Mm-hmm.
when you're driving there in the morning, you're like, damn, I really don't want to deal with my boss today being an asshole.
Yeah, I had a job at a fucking sawmill one time. Like,
Mhm.
worst job of my life. I'm be real. I hated it. I'm not a manual labor person in general. Like, I don't mind doing
Feel
hard
that.
work, but like, dude, standing there like for 10 hours fucking stacking wood, not fun. Don't recommend it to anybody.
Mm.
And when I finally realized it was time for me to quit, was I literally pulled into the parking lot one day and I got out of my car, hadn't even eaten breakfast yet, had like a little bit of coffee, and I just fucking threw up. And it was just from the fact that I didn't want to be there. Like it from
Mhm.
anything else. Like I wasn't sick, I wasn't anything like that. It's just my body was telling me like, yeah, you probably shouldn't be here. And it was just
Yeah.
absolutely horrible. But and it's so sad that so many people have to go through that. Honestly, like it's just America's so fucked. Like people always
Yeah.
say that it's like the greatest country and everything, but it's really not. I mean, if you look at there's
Yeah.
one, I can't remember where it is, but there's like one country that like they measure their success on like the gross
Mhm.
happiness of their citizens. And it's like
Yeah, isn't it like Sweden or something?
I don't think it's Sweden.
Is
It's
it?
some weird, it's one of them
Because I
over
know
there.
Sweden is considered like the happiest country
Well,
in
no
the world or
shit. They
something.
work. They work like what is it? 3 days a week or 4 days a week? I think it
Mhm.
is. They
Yeah.
don't have the 5 day work week. You work like 4 days a week. You get like a year and a half off for maternity leave or some shit like that, paid,
Mhm.
where you can actually have a fucking kid and spend time with it instead of in the U.S. It's like, hey, you just
Yeah.
had a baby, 6 months. Come on, we gotta get you back in the chair. Gotta get back making
Yeah.
us
They
money.
let you be a person outside of work.
Yeah, like they actually care about the
Yeah.
well-being of people that live there instead of the US
Mhm.
where it's just corporate greed that are just like, "Hey, how can we make more money day in and day out?" And who cares
Yeah.
about our employees? We're just trying to make more money.
Mhm.
But it's horrible, man. But we're hopefully
Yeah.
moving in the right direction, but yeah, I'm all for freaking Oregon's decriminalization though. I think that's awesome. I see so many memes
Yeah.
online about it though. Like I saw one that was like Oregon's Thanksgiving list and it was like heroin, crack, meth. It's like Thanksgiving menus in Oregon and I'm like I don't think it's so much like that, but you know.
Not quite, but
Yeah, not exactly, but I'm all for it. We just need to worry about happiness more than money,
yeah.
honestly. So, you liking your hockey blog? I know you're a big sports
Yeah.
person, so
Yeah, although I was excited at first, but now I haven't watched hockey. I mean, other than the whole, no, issue with COVID, but I, like, don't even enjoy watching it anymore.
Because you feel like it's
So that
work?
sucks. Yeah, I'm just like, I don't know, like, I've heard about it all day, I just kinda check results and any news, and I'm like, "Alright, good enough."
That's interesting. So what kind of articles do you write on it? Like, just do you get like do you just do like the breaking news updates or like what?
Well, I currently don't write anything. I just tell people what to do.
Oh, you boss
um,
lady, huh?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, it's a lot of obviously like the big stuff and trades and kind of like personal things that come up to all that good stuff.
Okay, yeah, 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 yeah. I get you.
I
Did
don't
you
know.
see
I guess
the?
I don't follow. I don't even really have to follow. I'm kind of just like, did you get this in on time? All right, good.
All right, bet we're good. Don't worry about it. Nah, there's like a you know what off season I think in all of sports is the most interesting is the NBA because they pull off some crazy fucking trades. Like right now,
Yeah,
they're working on a 4-team trade. It's like the Bucks, the Oklahoma City Thunder, like I think the Pistons and like some in the Hawks maybe it might be. But yeah, they're like the NBA, you see all of these crazy trades that it's like, hey, I'm gonna send this person
yeah.
here, and you're gonna send that person to this team, and we're gonna do this, that, and it's like, all right, you get draft picks, you get draft picks, we get this
Yeah.
player, and it's like what the fuck? Like, it's insane. The NBA offseason is the honestly, I think the best in sports. And then
Yeah.
you
I,
then you
that's
just
a
no, go ahead.
sorry. That's a sport that I wish I got more into. Like I have friends who like in college I had a couple friends that were always like, "Oh, you want to watch basketball?" And I would, but I never just turn it on by myself, but I
Yeah,
wish that's a sport that I wish I got into more.
yeah. You playing fantasy football this year?
No,
Oof.
Adam's friends, they had two different leagues, but they don't like playing with a lot of people. I think they keep it at like 8 or 10 and the spots filled up and I was like, okay, well.
Yeah, I
Plus, I
remember
didn't want to like intrude being the only girl
female.
and yeah, they're all guys and I was like, I don't want them to like hate me. And I was like, then if I won, they would really hate me. Like I probably wouldn't, but if I did, I feel like they would absolutely hate me.
Honestly, you'd probably kick their
So,
ass. Let's be real. You're pretty good at
well,
fantasy.
I played freshman year of college with
I
some
remember.
friends, and I'm pretty sure I ended up placing like second. So I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
if I really tried, I could have won.
Bet. Hey, you remember when we made fucking bacon pancakes?
Yeah.
Oh, them good times, man. Them good
I
times.
miss college. I always say like I miss it so much, and I'm like, I just miss
The people.
like my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like everything else I hated.
Yep. It's
No.
always the people. I agree. That's
Yeah.
one thing that I do miss is like being able to walk down the hall and just, hey, what's up, Megan and
Mhm.
Allison? What y'all up
Yeah,
to
and, like,
today?
on the whole campus, you could literally just, like, put something on Facebook, be like, "Who wants to hang out on board?" And, like, some random person you can make friends with and,
I remember
so
when
easy.
I remember when Yik Yak was big before they banned it. I think this was
I
actually
forgot that was a thing.
yeah, I think it was before you were there too. I'm not 100% sure
I
because
think
I
there was a
know.
little bit while I was there at the
Yeah, okay.
beginning.
I know, but I don't know if this happened while you were there or not. But I was like drunk as fuck one night, of course, and I posted on Yik Yak. I asked if anybody could drive me to the gas station to get me cigarettes. I was like, I
Mhm.
can buy them, I just can't drive. And then like people were like roasting me, like, why can't you drive? And then someone replied, and they're like, he's probably drunk. And I'm like, righto, buddy. And I met someone. He ended up being cool, and like we became friends on Facebook. I'm still friends with him on Facebook today. But I ended up meeting him outside, like where the stop sign was, right next to the Josephine, like right by the
Yeah.
parking lot. He's just like, I'll go meet you by that stop sign, and he gave me like an entire pack of Camels. Like, and I was like, hey, bro,
Wow.
thanks. Like, didn't even have to leave
College is
campus.
wild.
It really is, man. It really is. And then I can't tell you how many times I had like random people just buy me alcohol, just again post on Yik Yak, hey, who wants to buy me something? And they're like, yeah, I got you, bud. I'm like, bet.
Wow.
And
I did college wrong. I
I did
never got
college
free
wrong too.
alcohol.
I did college wrong too. Well, no, I had to buy it, but they would buy it for me. Most
Oh,
of the time,
okay.
most of the time, people
Okay.
are okay with buying other people alcohol as long as they get alcohol
Yeah.
out of it as well. So I was like, hey, buy me
Mhm.
this $20 bottle of Seagram 7, get yourself whatever the fuck you want, and we're good to go. And all right, and that $20 bottle of Seagram 7 would last you a long ass time because that motherfucker's like this big. And you can make quite a bit of drinks out of it. But it was that, and then I drank a lot of Jack Daniels as well. Oh, that just makes it worse. But college is a wild time. Remember when you had that one weirdo boyfriend? I mean, you had a
Which
couple of
one?
them. I was about to say,
Ron.
Ron, fucking Ron. I can't remember which one it
Yeah.
was. I
Oh
remember the
God.
one that I was in your room playing Battlefield or whatever, and he was in there. But then you had that other one that took like an entire bottle of ibuprofen trying to kill himself for some dumb reason because you
Austin.
were. Ah, yes, that's the one I was originally
Yeah.
talking about.
Oh my
He
God.
fucking,
Yeah.
because you were drinking or something, and he's like, give me
I had
ibuprofen.
one. I had one shot. Are you kidding me? I wish that was enough to
Oh my
fuck me up. Jeez,
god.
I needed it that night.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
and then he made me drive him to Taco Bell. He's like, "Oh, I took so many pills. I need food."
It's
I had
like
to drive him to
it's your
Taco
fault,
Bell.
dumbass.
Should have left his ass there.
God, that Taco Bell by campus got so much business. Like I swear to God, it
From just
honest.
us too.
Not yeah. From us and every other fucking college kid that's like, hey, it's 2 a.m. Let's go get some Taco Bell. You
Mm.
know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I miss Green Bay sometimes. Like I really do. Like I don't like totally miss like the city. Like I miss living on campus because like on campus was nice because it was like away from everything and for the most part it was quiet.
Yeah.
But when I was living in that apartment, I don't miss that.
Oh, yeah, when you mentioned it on the first podcast and you're like, "Oh, living with that." I don't know what you said,
I
but
said a
living with
not.
that
I can't even
person.
remember either. But yeah,
Yeah,
she just
but
was.
I was like, "Who?" And I was like, "Oh, I remember."
Yeah, I literally just stayed in my bedroom, like, cause it was a 1 bedroom apartment, and I got the
Yeah.
bedroom, and she had the living room, and she had a fucking kid, and so we had like a 2 year old that would cry all the fucking time, and I just sit in my bedroom, smoke my fucking weed, smoke my cigarettes, and play Madden or 2K. That's all I did for like 6 months. Like I'd go to work when I had to work, worked at a fucking pizza place.
Yeah.
Just like, yep, go make some pizzas, come back, just we're good to go. Them were wild times. Them were some wild
Oh
times.
yeah.
And then I honestly, the one job that I miss probably the most that I had was when I worked at Issues and Answers, which it was probably the most annoying job that people hate. But like we would call and like do surveys, like get market research. So it's like, we'd call and you'd
Mhm.
do like political polls, like, hey, who are you leaning towards voting in this coming? Like I remember one of them, it was like about the fucking San Diego Zoo. It's like, hey, do you want to make the San Diego Zoo free or something like I can't remember. Some dumb shit we'd call everywhere. But it was the easiest fucking job ever. I just sat there for like 6 hours just dialing on my fucking key. I got real fucking quick at dialing numbers. And like
Uh-oh.
they counted, it was like how many numbers you called. So it's like you could just like fucking dial it and like let it ring like 3 times, hang up, dial it, ring 3 times, hang up. Like
Sweet.
so if you really didn't want to do any work, you didn't have to. And I'd like put my phone by my computer and like watch. I was at the time it was when Courage was just getting big. Courage JD. I don't know if you
Mhm.
know him. He's in 100 Thieves now. I don't know if you follow like esports at all, video games.
No.
No,
Sorry.
anyways, it's cool. He's a live streamer, and it was like right when he was starting to get kind of big. So like I'd always just watch his streams while I'm at work and just be like, yeah, chilling. Me and my friends, we on our breaks. My friend, it was Jacob and my buddy Spencer. Super One was like right down the road. And, you'd get your half-hour lunch and like 15-minute breaks. We'd go into fucking Super One. We'd buy like 3 tall boys and just fucking shotgun the fuckers in the
Oh
parking
no.
lot on break. Just go back in. Oh, that was when I was drinking a lot then. I stopped drinking now. I can't. I drank too much when I was
I
younger.
forgot about this, but do you remember when we when we trained for that job together?
Oh my god, yes!
And we went to that office, hopped in a van, went across the street to Shopko, and scanned and counted random clothes.
And then we both quit at like the same time.
Yeah.
Well, these
I was gonna
motherfuckers.
say I did the training and well I didn't quit right afterwards, but
It
they
was
were like
pretty damn
they would
close.
text me at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
and they'd be like, "Oh, can you go to Barnes and Noble in 20 minutes and count books?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"What? You have to let me know ahead of time."
They'd fucking text me too, and they'd be like, "Hey, we're doing a shop, be here at 12 a.m. or something like that." It's like, no, bud.
Yeah.
No, bud.
Yeah.
No, thank you. And they gave you the fucking. Remember, they gave you the Batman belts.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I never worked a single time for them. And I literally stayed with them for like a month and I was just like, sorry, I can't go. And I never worked. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to quit. I'm going to save both of us the hassle and just quit.
I think I went once to a Barnes and Noble, and I remember it was the most boring thing I've ever done in my fucking life. Because they give you those little fucking. They had a scanner that went on the tip of your finger. So I'm just sitting here.
Yep.
Beep, 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 beep across these fucking books, and it's like.
Oh my
For
god.
like 5 hours. It's like, what the fuck?
I can't believe I forgot about that job. Although I
Oh
guess
my
since I never really
God.
worked, it was easy to forget.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. That was something else, man. That job was something else.
Or do you remember when I tried calling in sick for you at that one place? And she was like, this isn't Logan. I was like, yes, it is. This is Logan. She was like, no, it's not.
Oh, yo, that's anxiety at its finest right there. Yeah, try having your female friend call in saying it's you.
And she was like, I know this isn't Logan. I was like, it is.
I know, and then she called me like right after being like, hey, I just had someone call trying to say they were you. And yeah. And then
Oh wow.
I remember one of my buddies that I met there at Kroll's, Devon. Do you remember him? Yeah, he was chill as fuck, but I remember one time he had gone to fucking jail, and like he had just gotten out of jail or something. It's when he fucking accidentally killed a dude, I'm pretty sure. Like,
I think I remember you talking about
because I was sitting at the lunch hall. I was sitting at UWGB. I'm sitting at fucking lunch, and I get a Snapchat call from him, and he's like, "Hey, yo, I just killed somebody," and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah," and I'm just like, "All right, where are we hiding the body?" Haha, just joking. And he's like,
Yeah.
"No, I'm like serious. I think I just killed somebody. I'm probably going to jail or something." I'm like, "What the fuck you mean, bro? Like, you just call me out of the blue telling me you killed somebody?" And I'm like...
Yeah, like, at least text me and be like, hey, by the way, I'm calling you. It's something really crazy.
Yeah,
like, I need a heads up for that.
And then he ended up just, like, hanging up with not saying goodbye or anything. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Never gonna see him again.
And I didn't hear from him for a while or something. And then I ended up getting the story, but it was like... some old guy was harassing him or some shit, and the old guy was like coming after him, and I guess Vaughn punched him, and the old guy, when he fell down, he fucking hit his head or whatever and fucking snapped his neck. So like it was totally an accident, and then I guess like when he got out, because like him and I were like such good friends, I had to drive. I'm such a good guy sometimes, bro. I literally, when we would get done at Kroll's, alright, I literally had to drive this motherfucker like 20 minutes out of Green Bay every time we finished work. And then come back into campus. Like, because he didn't have a car. And, like, I'm just like, yeah, bro, whatever, I got you, So, like, I guess he went to Kroll's asking for my number or something. And it was like after I had quit Kroll's, and like they called me or something, and they're like, "Yeah, Vaughn showed up here asking for you or something like that," and I'm like, "What the fuck? I haven't heard from this dude. Like it had been months." And I'm like, this dude's just looking for
Yeah.
me. I really don't know what happened to him. Like, I honestly, to this day, don't
Aw.
know. Like, we just kind of, like,
It's so
lost
cute that
connection.
he tried so hard to get your number though.
Yeah, I know. Well, I think it's because, like I said, I think it's just because I was like, we were homies. Like, he was chill as fuck. I
Mm.
remember the one time we just chilled in my dorm room drinking 40s playing GTA all night. And
That sounds like a good time.
I smoked so much weed with that motherfucker. That's how he repaid me for driving him. I swear to God, every time I'd be driving, he'd be rolling up the fucking blunt on the way there. We'd get there, just sit in
Is it
his
ready
fucking
for you?
driveway, just sit in his fucking driveway, cheeching up on it. Just oh, college was a wild time, man. It really
Oh,
was.
jeez.
I had a good time. I missed I miss it. I really do. Like I said,
Mhm.
same thing with like hanging out with Emily, Allison, Manny, and I think that was one thing that like for me was when one of the main reasons, not like the main reasons, and it's like not his fault, but like where I started really feeling uncomfortable in college was when I got that weird roommate, McKinley, because he was my roommate when
Yeah.
yeah, because he was my roommate when you guys moved in. Was Manny my
Yeah.
roommate when you guys were there? I don't think Manny lived with me when you guys were there.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Mm.
But yeah, because like but Manny had already had an agreement with his other friends, with Kurt and Christian, was it?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Christian
I'm
and
inviting Manny and Christian to the wedding.
ooh, yo,
They
you.
said they're going.
Uh, when is
We'll
it again?
see. May 15th.
May 15th. I'll probably make it
Yeah.
in Illinois or in Michigan.
Yeah.
What part of
Illinois.
Michigan? Like you ain't got to tell me the town, but
Oh, we're in New Buffalo. It's the very like southwest. It's like right over the Indiana border.
it's such a far drive.
Very barely into Michigan.
Gotcha. See if you can make it. But yeah, those were when Manny and I was left with that fucking McKinley kid. Like, I did not enjoy college after that. I spent like 90% of my time in your guys' dorm after that.
Yep.
Like, it was just, I don't
Third
know.
roommate.
And then there was the one time that, like, he's like, yeah, my girlfriend's coming over. Can we have the dorm? Like, you did it like 2 or 3 times, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I just stayed with you guys.
I remember I only went into your room like one time.
You remember what?
I think I only went into your room one time.
Yeah, it's because
Like I think we were like
there.
you went to like grab something. You're like, oh, I have to grab some stuff. Can you help me? I was like, yeah, and I was like, wow, I've never been in here.
Wow. Yeah, that was. I don't know. He was. Well, I think I judged him. Like, I didn't really get to know him. I think he was super shy. And so I think that was part of it. And I just didn't get to know him very well. But I really don't think we would have been good friends anyways. Because he was going.
Yeah.
He was like some political science major or something like that. I don't fucking know. And like, not that this is a like a deal breaker either, because honestly I've been wanting to play D&D, but I don't have anybody to play with it. But he'd always go to D&D, and he had a fucking wizard staff that he would bring to D&D.
Wow.
Yeah, and he had like these maps and shit, and like a couple of times I wanted to be like, hey, can I come with? But I was too nervous too, because he just kind of...
Yeah. My brother's big into that now.
Really?
Or at least he was for a while. I don't know if he's still doing it, but that and Magic.
Ooh, Magic the Gathering?
Magic the
Yeah.
Gathering. Yeah.
Magic. No, I was big into card Magic for a while. All like in like middle school, a little bit of high school. I got pretty damn good at it, man. I was good at the sleight of hand with the card Magic. But how's your brother doing? How is him and his girlfriend still together? The one that you don't like?
Yep. Oh, I like her.
Oh, you
I do
like her
now.
now?
Well, before we never talked, and it was just kind of awkward because we went to school together, and then she moved in at home, and I was like, all right. But yeah, she's gonna be one of my bridesmaids.
Ooh,
They've been
fancy.
together for, I think Stop squeaking. I think they're gonna be together for 5 years in February.
Oh wow.
Um, but yeah, he's good. He works at a dispensary
Ah, fun
in
stuff. How
Illinois.
was their
So yeah.
I know it was a long, long time ago, but how was their trip across the US in the fucking van?
Oh, I think when was the last time they went? Because they usually they start with going to Bonnaroo in Tennessee, and then they kind of just go across to the West Coast. But yeah, they enjoy it. I think they really wanted to go this year, and they just because of COVID they couldn't, of
Mm.
course.
I
But
just
yeah,
remember like the
they enjoy
first
it.
time we went to your house, which by the way, she has a fucking crazy dog that like won't let you touch anything. And they also had a
Psycho dog.
bunny that if you went near the bunny, the dog would freak
The
out if
dog
you
would get
went
mad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like their dog scared the shit out of me. Probably the only dog I've ever
Yeah.
been scared of in my life.
No one likes him except for my mom.
And it's this like scrawny, ugly looking motherfucker too.
He is. He
Like,
has like a bright pink nose. He has like the pinkest skin, and he's like balding, which I mean, me too, but
yeah.
like it's scarier on him than
I
me.
know, and his hair's like so wiry. It's like not soft. He feels like a fucking pig. Like
Yeah.
it's
He's definitely not the cutest and not the friendliest. So,
but yeah, I remember that was fun when we went to your house though. Met your mom and
yeah.
everything. That was went to Portillo's for the first and only time.
Oh,
Try
I've
to
been craving Portillo's. That reminds me I should go tonight.
the good old fucking I got the Chicago hot dog, you know. Had to try it.
Mm,
We're in fucking Schaumburg. Even though it wasn't
yep.
Schaumburg, but oh, I still remember that. We went Catherine and I had to go to Chicago recently, like near Chicago, because her grandpa got us
Mm.
like all right, he's a nice person, but tell me how this makes any sense. So he bought us medieval times tickets to watch medieval times, okay? Which don't get me
Mhm.
wrong, I had a good time. It was fun. I'm into knights and all that bullshit. But he bought us the tickets, but then we had to pay for the hotel room and we had to pay for our gas and shit to get down to
Yeah.
Illinois. Like, tell me how that's a gift. Like the tickets were
And
probably
and
like
then you and then you're like, "Well, now I have to go."
exactly. We were like
Because then he's gonna
forced to
ask how
go.
it was, and then it's like, "Well, now I have to pay for hotel and gas and, take the time to go there."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thankfully, her parents paid for the hotel. But no, we got to the
That's
hotel.
nice.
We got to the hotel, and like we had our own room, and her parents and her brother had their own room. And we
Mm.
walk into our fucking hotel room. Right off the bat, cat piss, hardcore smell. I don't tell me how, but the room reeked of
Oh,
fucking cat
no.
piss. It was horrible. And then Catherine used the toilet and she flushed it and the fucking handle broke. So our
Oh
room
my
smells like cat
god.
piss and we have a broken toilet. So we like went
Oh,
down and
no.
we're like, hey, our room smells nasty. The toilet broke. Can we get a different one? And they ended up putting us in a different room, but it was yeah, overall it was not that fun of an experience. Catherine had a panic attack because we like it was like nighttime and I think we like were going to a mall. We went to a mall or something just because we had never been in a super big mall before. So we're like, hey, let's
Mhm.
just go hang out at the mall. And then like on our way back, it was like starting to get dark, and then like we like missed the road to go to the hotel a couple of
Mhm.
times, and then Catherine's like freaking out, started crying. I'm yelling at her because I'm frustrated, which doesn't make it better for her. It just makes it 10 times
Yeah.
worse. And but we got through it. We good now. But I mean, the medieval times thing was kind of cool. They had really good food. They had good
Now,
coffee.
I've never been.
It was
It's like
it's
an Illinois school thing that in 8th grade you go on a trip there, and I never went.
bruh.
I feel
They
like I missed out.
they milked the fuck out of it though, let me tell you, because like you walk in first of all, big ass fucking line, like you have to wait forever.
Mhm.
So like if there's corona going around, you ain't going anytime soon, let me tell you that much.
No.
All right, so big ass fucking line. We probably stood in line for 20, 30 minutes like just to get in. They take your picture like with
Mhm.
your group that you're up, that like they have these like bleachers and this stage set and stuff, and then so they take your picture,
Mhm.
and then you get assigned like a team, like you get like you there's like blue, green, yellow, like you get all these knights, and then
Yeah.
you walk in, and like by the time you get in, it's like half an hour till the show starts, like 45 minutes till the show starts, and there's just fucking souvenirs everywhere, bro. I mean, it's
For
insane.
tempting you.
Yeah, like there's like you can get a sword, you can get a light up sword. They have like actual swords there. They have like a drink bar where you can
Mhm.
get slushies and stuff, and like all this shit. And it's like they force you to spend time in there just with it all tempting you.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
fucking marketing tactics. But and then they escort you down to your
Temptation by
seats.
swords.
For real, like with me, it was a
It's the
temptation.
worst.
There was like real swords there, and like one, it was like 150 bucks or something. I'm like, you know, do I not, you know? And then we had to figure out, like, this is why I text you that one time. I don't even know if you remember. Remember how I asked you how you pay fucking tolls?
I don't know if I remember that. I
Yeah,
don't think I do.
I remember one time I asked you because we went through this one toll that was like the electronic one. Like we couldn't stop and fucking
Mhm.
give it money. and
Yeah.
and we're like, how the fuck do we pay this? Like we don't want it to turn into like a $300 ticket eventually. And it's
Yeah.
like we had to figure it out and everything, and it was a wild experience. But yeah, the medieval times thing is kind of cool. It's very staged, like you can tell. Like, you know,
Mhm.
it's a play of sorts, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's cool. I mean, they actually use like weapons and shit, and like sparks come flying off. And they one thing that I really enjoyed was they have in the beginning they have a hawk, and it does
Mhm.
like they like swing it around, and it goes around like the whole fucking stadium and like flies, and
Yeah.
it's so cool. Hawks are dope. Nature is dope.
When you were talking about on the first podcast, what was it? The serpent something?
Serpent's Mound.
Yeah. Well, when you're like, "Oh yeah, learn about that in school." I was like, "I've never heard of this thing ever in my life."
I
But
remember in grade school we learned about it. Like very like early in grade school or some shit. They're just like Serpent's Mound. The Indians made it. Enough said. Like that's all they said about it.
oh, I'd never heard of it before, but I saw I think I saw it on like Facebook or whatever. And this guy, there was like some big rock and it had like a kind of like an oval cutout in the middle. And he over months he was like studying like the moon and its positioning and stuff like that. And so he took a picture of the moon like right in the middle and it looked like an eyeball and it looked so cool. But that made
Yeah,
me think of
it's Serpent's
serpents.
Mound, and like there's a lot of sites. The
Mhm.
one place I was trying to say Glebeke Tepe or whatever, I still can't say it. That thing is insane too. There it's so like people like again, it's one of the things that we've gotten away from, in my opinion, with reading. I've been reading a lot of Graham Hancock stuff, and I watched like all of his podcasts with Joe Rogan and stuff. But like,
Mhm.
we forget that like humans, like it's just the way we've gone. It's not really how humans should live. Really, like
Yeah.
technology is cool and all. Like, I love it. Like, hey, I'm talking to you in your however fucking far away. Like, this is great, but
Mhm.
we don't like I was saying in the first one too about how like cities can't even see the stars anymore. It's like our ancestors, like the
Yeah.
stars were so important to them. Like you look at the Egyptians, like
Mhm.
the pyramids literally have star shafts that you like are just holes straight up that are perfectly aligned with stars on Orion's belt, and they call them like star shafts or
Mhm.
soul shafts because the Egyptians believed that they left those open so that when you die your soul rises up, and that it shoots up to the constellations in Orion's belt, and then your soul makes its way through the Milky Way where it goes on another voyage um, through. And it's like all that stuff is like super interesting to me, and after trying psychedelics I totally kind of understand it. Like it makes sense. It makes
Yeah.
sense why people think all this stuff because psychedelics are
Yeah. Well,
wild.
before when I would travel, I would be like, okay, where are some cool cities I could go to, shopping and all the good stuff. And like the past couple years, I'm like, I just want to go somewhere that looks cool.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah,
don't care about the cities. Like, I want to go somewhere. Like, it's just beautiful. And when we went to Denver, I we didn't rent a car, and I was hoping that I didn't do a ton of research. We By the time that we bought plane tickets and we're like, okay, we're gonna go, and actually left, it was like a week and a half. So we didn't plan. um,
You just went for
but
it. I love it.
yeah. Um, so I was hoping that we were gonna be able to do more outdoorsy stuff, but Denver's very like I was surprised how it's kind of like one main road and some things off of that, and that's about it. So we went, and I was like, I want to go back because it's just like I don't know. I stayed in the city and I wanted to go outside, and even there's like a 30-minute train ride that you take from downtown Denver to the airport, and like the whole train ride is just mountains on both sides, and it's so beautiful, but
Yeah, Catherine and I
just didn't
actually
get
went
close.
camping the other, like in October sometime
Hmm.
for the first time.
I
That was
went for
fun.
my first time in August.
Ooh,
I went I don't remember where it was called, but it was kind of I think it was about 30, 40 minutes from Green Bay.
okay.
Um it was I was scared and going
I
into
always
it cuz I
forget
was
you're a
like
city slicker.
yeah, I was like I'd never gone camping. I go to outdoor malls and that's about it. But I really enjoyed it, and I went with my friend Mariah, and I would literally just like sit there and like space out. And my phone didn't work, which I was glad because I didn't want to
Yeah,
like even worry about it or be tempted. But she was like, "You're quiet. Is everything okay?" And I was like, "For the first time in my life, I'm thinking about nothing, and I love
yep.
it."
I know
It was so amazing.
one of my favorite things is like when we go and visit my mom, and it's like one thing I really take for granted now, like because I had it all my life growing up. But like my mom has a really nice front deck and back deck, and her house is literally in the middle of fucking nowhere. Like
Hmm.
we don't have neighbors for like half a mile. On the
Yeah.
left side, it's like half a mile, closest neighbor. On the right side, who the fuck knows? It's probably like 2 3 miles. Like nobody behind us, nobody in front of us. Like it's so like out of the way. And like one of my favorite things that I take, like I said, I take it for granted now, but it's just sitting out there, like especially at nighttime, just sitting on the fucking deck and just like listening to the crickets chirp and listening to the
Hmm.
frogs and like just listening to nature and being out there in nature. Like nature is free.
Yeah.
Nature is wonderful. Nature is like nature's
Hmm.
everything, bro. Like
Yeah.
it's wonderful. Look at this. Look at this motherfucker. So a while ago, Catherine and I got into crystals, and look at this big boy.
Oh, my brother's girlfriend's into crystals. Ooh, that is a big one.
Yeah, it's a big old slab
I
of.
saw someone made this like a crystal kind of like sun catcher thing, and I
Mhm.
wanted it so bad, but it was like $180. I was like, I don't
Yeah,
like
this
it,
this
but
bad boy was like $100, 110 or something like that.
yeah.
But like I saw it and like look at it looks like fish scales, doesn't it?
Hmm. That's
But
cool.
yeah, yeah, I was just like drawn to it like the second I saw it, and I didn't even like look at the price. I was just kind of like, I need.
Yep, it's the one.
But yeah, and I found out after that it's like black labradorite or something like that, and
Mhm.
it's like has mystical properties. It's like from the
Ooh,
aurora borealis or something like that, and it's like for self discovery. It's supposed to help with and everything.
oh,
So, and then I wear my amethyst necklace every day for wisdom.
nice.
Teach me things. But no, there it's crazy because like I've gotten out of it a lot now. Like I was doing really good for like 2 weeks, like I said in the first podcast. But like meditation, like honestly,
Mm.
once I put this thing next to me while I was meditating, holy shit, this shit is not bogus. Let me tell you. All right, the
Mhm.
states I was able to get into with this motherfucker next to me, it was like a
Mhm.
whole different feeling than like meditation before it. It's wild. But
Yeah. My therapist recommended to me multiple times meditation, but like my brain was just so all over the place that I was like, I can't do it long term. And so she would have me start out on like really short ones, and like I just couldn't.
yeah,
So,
I started out with like I started out big. I went 15 minutes. I was like, I'm gonna
Mm.
do it 15 minutes a day. This was after my first big mushroom trip. That was like from now it
Mhm.
was just kind of like mild, but like changed my life for like a month and a half. Like I was like depression free, so much energy,
Mhm.
having a lot of fucking fun. Um, the trips since then haven't been so pleasant, but it's what I needed.
Mhm.
Um, but like it was just I started out with like 15 minutes, and then 15 minutes was like a little tough, so then I got it down to 10. But it is hard. I don't know like what kind of was she having you do mindful meditation like zazen, like your breath, or like what kind of meditation was it?
I don't even remember what it was. This was back in, I think, March or April. And she just sent me like a few different videos to try, and there were some that were just like a minute, and I don't know. I couldn't get into it. I was
It's
like, I don't
tough.
know. My like and then I'd be like, okay, I need to focus. And then I'd be like, but I'd be trying too hard to focus, and then I like think about 400 other things.
But the problem with it, like again, I don't know what kind of meditation it was she was trying to have, but like the point of meditation isn't to like not so much focus, it's to let your mind reel, but
Mm,
it's to be able to let the thoughts just pass. It's kind of like the
yeah.
purpose of it is so like you can it's kind of like your think of your thoughts as like a river, and it's like the purpose of it is so
Hmm.
you can be like standing at the bank of this river watching all of your thoughts go through and just like let them pass
Yeah.
by like it doesn't matter like because you aren't your thoughts, but that's what it is,
Yeah.
and it's crazy
I think I
because
just tried focusing too hard.
yeah, the way I do it, the meditation that I was working on is like mindful meditation they call it, or like zazen meditation, which is just
Mm,
you sit there. I put your hands like I always have my hands like this, upside down like this, and it's like a mudra or something like that, right by the belly, and like
mm,
I have problems with my knees and shit, so like sitting on the floor is kind of difficult. But I usually just sit in my chair, back straight up like this, and then I just close my eyes, and you just focus on your breath. Like you literally
yeah.
just inhale, just focus on how it makes you feel, focus on it coming in, and like all that. And it's wild because they've actually done studies that it actually like doing the meditation actually rewrites the way your brain works. It's
Mm,
like it's wild.
it's crazy.
It is crazy that just sitting there for 10 minutes a day, focusing on your breathing, can rewrite how your brain works. And it's something that
Yeah.
like it is tough to get into, but I really it helps. Like I can't preach it because again I don't even do it anymore. I want it. I need to get back to it, but it's just difficult
Mm,
sometimes. You know, you just get caught up in your shit. But I try to get Catherine to do it too because
yep.
she has really bad anxiety, and I know it helps anxiety a lot. Um, but like I don't know, that's another thing. Like our breath is one thing that I feel like we don't focus on a lot, and like the more I read into
Mhm.
stuff, it's like your breath work is so important. There's actually like there's there's like literal breathing techniques that you can use to get into like psychedelic states, like without using psychedelics. Like you can have full blown psychedelic trips with just your breathing.
Oh.
Yeah, it's wild. And there's yoga. It's called Kundalini yoga, and it's the same thing. It's like just
Ooh.
certain poses and everything. It's because supposedly, not supposedly, but it activates like the pineal gland, and which creates DMT,
Mhm.
which is the most potent psychedelic. But it's
Crazy.
interesting. I
Brain's
know
wild.
it is, and let me tell you, that was one thing too. Like mushrooms. Have you ever seen like the chart, like a map of like your brain normally, and then like when your brain is on psilocybin, like on mushrooms?
Mm.
Here, let me.
All crazy on mushrooms.
It's here. Let me find it real quick. Psilocybin. Here it is. And then let me share my screen with you real quick. How do I share my screen? Share your screen. This thing. Go live. Look at this. This is your brain normally, and then this is your brain
Mm.
when you're on mushrooms.
Mm.
It literally
Might have
creates.
to.
Can you see it?
Huh.
Yeah, it makes like neurons in your brain
That's
that
tempting.
it's an interesting experience. I don't recommend it for everybody. It's not. It's a very intense thing
Oh
that
my god.
happens.
I took edibles one time that my brother gave me, and I was like, never again. Our power was out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, maybe this will pass the time. No. And he told me to take a quarter. And afterwards, he's like, oh no, you should have taken like max an eighth. And I was like, great. I literally took the dog out, and I thought the grass was like fairy grass. And I started playing The Sims, and I placed like one couch and a rug, and it took me like an hour and a half.
Yeah, that's
And I was making a
edibles.
peanut butter marshmallow fluff sandwich, and I spent like 15 minutes making it. In my
Edibles
brain,
are
I was like, I'm in slow motion. I
yeah,
did it.
edibles are crazy. Like people don't realize how psychoactive like edibles can get. Like you wanted to. That's another thing. Like I know Joe Rogan talks about how one of his things he does with edibles is he'll take them and like when they start kicking in, he goes into a sensory deprivation tank, and like he says, it's kind of like it's almost like a psychedelic trip on there too. Like it just like THC can get very psychoactive with edibles. Like it's not so much when you smoke it. Like the smoking, it's fun and everything, but when you ingest edibles, when you take enough, it's like you're gonna see some shit sometimes, and it's.
I played Uno with myself.
I remember we made
I
it.
would have the hand, and I'd be like, all right, and I'd put it down, and then I would completely forget what was in that hand.
I love it.
It was awful.
Me and my
At least I
buddy.
can say I won though. So
One of my buddies has a friend who grew medically, and like he had a whole fuck ton of weed butter, and he's just like, "Here, have it," and he just gave it to my friend, and we made brownies one time, and those brownies were so strong, it was insane. I ate like half of one, and I ate it like I was on my way to Catherine's house. It was when we didn't live together yet. I was on my way to Catherine's house, and I ate it like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes before I got to her house. And I swear to God, I was there for 15 minutes once I got there. And I was like laying in her bed. And I literally felt like I was melting into the bed. Like, no bullshit. I'm like, yep, I'm becoming the bed. Me and the bed are one now. And,
see you later.
yep. And I literally thought I died. Like, I thought I had a fucking stroke because I had this high ringing in my ear. And then all of a sudden, pop. And I was like, that's it. Logan's dead. That's it. I died. And then I went into the bathroom and I threw the fuck up. Like, I couldn't, like, it was so intense. And then one of my friends, I feel so bad for him. One of my buddies, and that was on half a brownie. I only ate half of it. One of my buddies, we were just fucking around with him, and we were like, eat a whole one. And he was the first one to, like, try them. And he ate a whole one, and he's like, I couldn't move. I couldn't talk. I couldn't do anything. Like, I can't imagine the level that he was on.
I think I took another one after that. But I was like going through TikTok, and I swear to God, it was just a loop of like the same 3 videos. I was like, I just saw this one. And like I would keep going, and eventually I had to stop because I was freaking myself out. I was like, I've seen this one 30 times in the past 5 minutes. How is that possible?
Oh,
Awful.
man. But yeah, it's crazy. Psilocybin, like, it creates, like, like you saw there, it, like, just fires like basically all the neurons in your brain like that normally aren't active. And it, like, for me, when I'm tripping on it too, especially like if I'm not like laying down trying to focus on like the trip and everything, like if I'm like actually keep my eyes open and try to like be coherent and stuff, my brain, like, literally, when I took 5 grams the other day, which was not a fun time. It was a fun time and not a fun time at the same time. But I told Catherine, I was like, my whole life just flashed before my eyes. Like, you know how people say that before they die? Like, I'm not even shitting you. It was like I had every thought I had ever had in my entire life in like 20 minutes. Like your brain just is going so fast. At least mine does. I don't know if it's the same for everybody, but it's just like I was having like memories from like high school and like shit people said to me in high school and like about my math teacher and like all this shit, and it's like it's crazy. But I'm gonna get into not like macro dosing anymore. Like I'm gonna try and cut down on that and go more into like micro dosing, because microdosing, it seems like it has a lot more benefits. Like obviously taking the large doses has its benefits as well, and like when you have one of those strips, it's just like the most profound thing ever. It's wild, but it is a lot, and it's you don't want to do that every week. Like it's not an easy thing,
Yeah.
and it's like the day after you feel like complete shit. It's horrible. Like it's like you're hungover almost. But the microdosing has it's supposed to really help with especially like depression and anxiety. And it's like you only take like 0.25 of a gram or like zero point 0.3 of a gram like every day. And it's like such a small dose that like you don't notice any effects from it, except for like it helps your mood and it helps your thinking because you're still getting some psilocybin in your body, and it's like it's such a strong chemical that like it still does what it needs to do in your brain, and it really helps promote it. And then I also take, I have them in my cupboard, I don't have them here with me, but I've been taking mushroom pills every day, and it's like reishi mushrooms, it's lion's mane, I think it's chaga, like a couple other ones too. And it's just it all helps like boost your immune system and like your brain like growth and all that stuff. And honestly, they have helped so much. Like I said, I have problems with my knees, and it's like since I've been taking those, like a lot of it is for like immune support, and it's like my knees have been feeling better. I don't have as much pain in them. Like I can walk a little bit more than I could before. My back hurts less. Like that's why my next podcast, when I film it either tomorrow or later today, is going to be just about mushrooms. Like not even just the psychedelic kind. Like mushrooms have so much potential for helping so many things. Like lion's mane has been proven to promote neurogenesis, which is like the rebuilding and like in making of neurons and nerves. So it's like if you have like nerve damage somewhere and something like that, like lion's mane can help repair it quicker. And then it also helps, like it can help prevent against like Alzheimer's and like all of those disease of like the brain. Like my mom has white matter disease, um, which is kind of like it's like a deteriorating of the brain sort of thing. And I've been trying to get her to take these mushroom pills. I'm like, Mom, just
Yeah.
try them. It can't hurt you. It's only gonna
Yeah.
possibly help you. But she's like, no, I don't know. They're not approved by the FDA. And it's like, Mom,
Oh.
come
All the
on.
none of the good stuff is approved by the
Yeah, because you want to know why?
FDA.
Because the FDA knows, like, hey, this can replace a lot of pharmaceuticals that we have. So no, we're not gonna say it's
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. Like that's another
Mhm.
problem with America is the big pharma. They just fight everything. That's
Mhm.
why it's taken so long to get like weed legalized. It's like, really, come on. We've known since fucking 30 years ago that weed doesn't hurt you. Like, there's never been any bad side effects.
It's still not legalized in Wisconsin, is it?
No. Like, what the fuck is wrong with us? We're the
Right.
only state in the Midwest not medical or recreational. Michigan,
Even
both.
medical?
Not even medical. Not even fucking medical.
Crazy. My grandma, because she had cancer for I think about a year and a half, almost 2 years. And she had her medical card. She was really like hesitant at first because she's like, I don't want to feel high and she just didn't want to feel awful, but they were able to like find things that helped her and she had her medical card and my brother would bring home stuff for her and he'd be like, try this, try that, let me know how you
Yeah, and
like
that's
it. And
that's the good thing about weed too is like nowadays with how like people growing it and everything, you can tailor it to the person almost like exactly what they need. It's like we know so much more about the plant instead of, hey, this is weed, just smoke it. like you said your grandma didn't want to feel high. There you're gonna find somebody with like a higher CBD content than higher
Mm.
THC content that is still gonna give you the like effects that really help you, but then it's not gonna get you as high. And like it's just crazy now. Yeah, you live in Michigan, you can just go out to the dispensary and be like, "Hey, yo, give me an A, that good shit,
The
boy."
people, because we're renting a house, and the people who lived here before us grew in the basement.
Hey, that's where it's at, bro. That's
Oh.
where it's at. Like that's all.
I mean, I don't go through much, so I get from my brother. He brings it home from work, and I bring it home.
Yeah,
So,
when we move to Colorado, we're definitely gonna start our own little grow. It's just saves so much money, and it's like there's something like rewarding about it, like doing it yourself. You know, it's like seeing it grow from a little seed up to a big plant. You're just so proud.
baby.
I know. You're just like, "Aw, I did all that, my little baby. Now help me get high." But it's
Parenting with a reward.
exactly parenting without the drawbacks. That's for
Yeah.
sure. Do you and Adam plan on having kids? Yeah.
He's like obsessed with kids. I still like I don't know how to talk to kids. I don't know how to be around kids.
Same.
I was like I wasn't around children for a lot of my life. And so like, oh yeah, we could have like five. And I was like, absolutely not. I was like, one, maybe two.
Oh man, I've like never been around, especially babies. Like because
See, if anything, I love babies. Once they can start talking shit to me, I hate them.
and that's when I kind of start to like them. When they're like smaller, like maybe if you give me a kid can wipe his own ass, goes to the bathroom, you know, and
Takes
can
care of himself.
you know
You
somewhat
have to laugh at my
coherently
jokes.
yeah, you know, somewhat coherently give me, you know, can somewhat understand me, you know, can somewhat communicate with me, like, all right, then be good. But anything younger than that, it's kind of like, I've never been around babies. I remember one of my ex girlfriends, like, everybody in her family was popping out kids left and right. And, like, one time I was, like, over there, and her sister had one of their newborn babies or whatever. And her sister put the baby on my chest, and I just was kind of like, get it off! Get it
Oh,
off!
put that
Like,
thing back where it came from, or so help me.
I'm like so scared I'm gonna hurt the motherfuckers because they're so tiny and fragile. You gotta hold their little head and shit. Like, I don't know. We,
You're weird.
Catherine and I are kind of like on the fence about it. We're like, you know, maybe when we get older. Definitely not right now. Neither one of us are mentally
Yeah.
fit to have a child.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, definitely got a lot of internal work that needs to get done first. Self healing. But what are we looking at here? Oh, it's about an hour and a half.
Good.
Yeah. Well, you want to
Nice
call
when you're
it?
having fun.
I know, right? It's been good catching up with you. You like my... Look at this Lego Mew. I built this thing.
I was
Can you
trying to
believe
figure
that?
out what that was. I thought it was Pink Panther.
Nah,
for
bro.
early.
It's a Lego
Now it
Mew.
makes sense. Now.
This
Oh, that's
thing
cute.
this
I
thing
like
took me
that.
forever to figure out how to even start it. Let me tell you that much. But like once you get going on it, it was kind of easy. My cats knock it over all the time, so I've had to fix its head about 4 times. And then look at Catherine got me this little guy. I love this. Are you a fan of The Office?
I was gonna say, is that Dwight?
It's fucking Dwight shirt is a
I
bobblehead.
thought so.
And then I got
I
the
kept looking at it in the back, and I was like, I don't know. I couldn't tell if it was like Dwight or
yep.
I
And
didn't
then
know.
we got Rick right there. We got Geralt right
Mm.
there. Naruto. This is Goku in a box. There's Shenron going. And then peep the threat level midnight poster.
Nice.
That's what that is. Most of that stuff Catherine gets for me for like Christmas and birthdays and stuff. She's so good to me.
The Office.
I love The Office too. I'm so sad they're taking
Er,
it off of Netflix.
What? They are?
You didn't
When?
know? Like the start of 2021.
No.
I don't know if it's like the start of December or start of January or something like that. But sometime coming up, like in 2021, The Office is no longer going to be on Netflix. It's going back to like CBS is taking.
Our processional song for our wedding is going to be Forever by Chris Brown, like Jim and Pam's wedding.
Aw, how cute.
We were watching it a couple weeks ago, and I just had my lash extensions put on, and they're like, "Okay, you can't cry for 48 hours," which I was like, "Oh, great, here we go." But I got home, and Adam had the wedding episode on, and I was like, "You have to turn that off because I cry every time, and I can't
Same.
cry for 48 hours."
Bro, same. When Jim cuts his fucking tie, it's like the cutest thing ever.
Yep.
Like like Pam tore her veil and she's like crying and Jim's just like snip.
Mhm.
There we go. And then takes her onto the boat. Like it's like the cutest thing
I've
ever.
watched it so many times, and I cry every single time.
Me too. Whenever it pops on, I'm just like, yeah, I don't feel like crying right now. Next one.
Yeah,
Next
yeah.
one, like, well, we'll go to the honeymoon, and then Kevin steals her fucking identity on her honeymoon.
Yeah.
It's like, well, Jim, you're obviously not in Puerto Rico. And I love how Toby
Oh
was
my
like
goodness.
secretly getting low key happy that he thought the wedding wasn't gonna happen. He's like, well, I guess they ran out. You know, these things happen. Yeah, Catherine didn't like The Office at first when we first started, but she had never seen it, and I was like, all right, you gotta watch it. And now she's just as obsessed with it as I am.
It's hard to get into it. I feel like
It
you have to
is.
start with like the best episodes and then go back and like watch it in order.
And it's also one of those that like you have to have a certain sense of humor to enjoy it because a lot of
My
it. Go ahead.
uncle, he's like one of the quietest people, and he always seems so like strict and stern. He told me that he likes watching The Office, and I was like, "There's no way." Like, it's still he told like I found this out like 2 3 years ago, and it still blows my mind that he likes The Office.
Oh my god, that The Office is great. I love it. I love it's just, but not like you have to have like that certain sense of humor that like you have to like find people's reactions to stuff funny. Really is what it
Mhm.
is what I always say because it's like so much of it. Like how many times I've laughed at like the look Jim gives the camera. Sometimes he's just like, you know what I mean?
That's
Like
my
that
favorite.
cracks me
Yeah.
up every single time. And it's like, or the dumb shit Michael does when he burns his foot on his George Foreman grill. And he brings in the dude in a wheelchair. We are the same person.
Yeah.
It's like, would you make fun of him? Oh man, or
Oh,
when he hits
jeez.
Meredith with his car, man. The Office is just. Do you know
Great
that
show.
Angela and I don't know her name. I know the other one, Jenna
Fisher?
Fisher.
Pam?
Pam. Yeah, they have their own podcast.
I listen to it.
Do you?
I love it. I do.
I've never
Well,
I haven't listened to it yet.
I binged it, and I watched or I listened to a bunch of them, and then I haven't listened to it in a while though.
Okay. Yeah, I've never listened to it. Like it's one of those things that I've
Pretty
been
good.
meaning to get around, but oh, well, I think that about does it. I know you got other
It's a
shit you
good
got to
start.
get done today.
I go to Illinois tonight,
Oh,
so
have fun with that.
I have my suitcase packed back here.
Yeah, all
I have
ready
to
to
stay
go.
until Friday morning, so.
All right, well,
Yay.
everybody go check out her unnamed hockey blog that she manages. You know, good luck finding it.
My family doesn't even like well, before I used to write for them, and my family was like, "Oh, I want to read," and I was like,
No.
"Absolutely not.
Nope.
You can't know it."
It's like this does not exist.
Yeah.
It's nowhere.
What's a blog? Yeah.
All right. Well, I'd say this was a successful conversation. I enjoyed catching up with you.
For having me. I'm obsessed with podcasts, and I was like, I have to do just one, at least one.
Hey, well, there you go. Now you got one. You'll be able to listen to yourself. You know, either tomorrow or whenever the heck I get this thing posted. Like I said, I don't know. It'll either be tomorrow or sometime next week. We'll get it up soon.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you for being my first ever guest. If I'm ever the next Joe Rogan, you can always say I was the first guest on the
Wow.
Smart Kids
If you're ever the
podcast.
next Joe Rogan, you have to have me on like once a month or something.
Oh hell yeah, bro! if I'm ever the next Joe Rogan, bro, all my friends are eating. Let me just tell you that much. Like we all I'll do a
We got to
whole.
get to a point where we can have Post Malone on the
Oh my
podcast. That's how
god,
you know you've made it
that's
as
the
like
dream right
a
there.
someone with a podcast.
Yeah, that's
Definitely.
the fucking dream right there. If I can ever get Posty, bro, I'll smoke a whole fucking pack with him and drink a 30 rack with him. I don't smoke or drink anymore, but fuck it, it's Posty.
Yep, yep.
All right, Allison. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I hope you have a good time going to Illinois.
You.
All right, we'll catch you later. Peace, love, and
Bye.
happiness. Deuces.